I saw my brother on stage with his band Sniper. No, he was never a singer in a band before. He was already on when I walked in. And I see him up there, and I see this guy who had gone through a transformation that I had never seen except for, like, you know, in the movies. Like, I guess the closest thing I could think of is like Jerry Lewis in The Nutty Professor, you know? But so fucking aggressive, I couldn't believe it was the same person. And he was singing like he was fucking roaring, you know? I was so happy for him to see him, like, have the balls to go up and do something like that, you know? But I could tell he was finally finding his niche. And then a week later, they threw him out of the band because he wasn't pretty.
Now, Johnny didn't like your brother.
Right? He didn't get along with my brother. He didn't really even want to know him because my brother was kind of a, I don't want to say a freak. We were all freaks, you know? But he was more of a hippie freak, I guess. And John, even though he was, you know, he was not he tried to come off like a right-wing conservative, but he was also a big Charles Manson advocate. All those guys were into the glitter scene. John was wearing satin pants and, you know, chinchilla coats. I guess that's where John and my brother found the connection.
Well, you know, me and John, we go see the Stooges, and, you know, we all got kind of turned on to the MC5 about, you know, the same time, and Alice Cooper.
Like, were any girls ever involved at this stage of the game?
Never, no. Any girls in Forest Hills would leave there to find a man somewhere else, to the East Village or something, you know what I mean? You wouldn't want anybody. It wasn't cool to be from Queens. You would lie about it. If you went into Manhattan, you wouldn't tell them, oh, I got an apartment in the city, you know. Then you go back to your mom's house.
So it was just the guys hanging out? And
Joey and me, you know, and John and me and Richie Stern, and, you know, with their platform shoes and doing your hair for 2 hours and all. And that's all. We just, like, maybe be able to make it to Tommy's car. And that's about as much of a production as everybody could. There was nowhere to go after that. Later there was when the Dolls started playing.
When I say I'm in love, you best believe I'm in love, L-U-V.
Their shows would be like these real eventful kind of nights that everybody came down. It was real decadent, but great. You know, great songs, great energy, you know, real wild stage antics.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was just the best thing in the world. There was nobody that could compete with them. But I was just gone because it was just the music was just incredible. And clothes and stuff, and the freaks running around. It was great. And then they'd make that long trip home back to Queens. It was rough.
I saw where the musicianship was going at that point in time. This is the drug era coming into rock and roll, so everyone was getting into the overindulgence of their playing. Solos, you felt no way can I ever be able to play like this. Even if you have the talent, you have to sit there for 15 years practicing. All of a sudden I went to see the New York Dolls play. I was seeing bands now that what rock and roll was supposed to be, seeing how great they could sound and how great they could be with limited musicianship.
So finally, John calls me up one day, says, oh, I bought a guitar. And they said, and I'm talking to Dee Dee and everything. I said, let's get together and talk about it. Maybe we can put something together.
I had just left another band, and Dee Dee liked my style. And so he mentioned to John that he wanted me in the band.
So the two people that we knew then would be Joey played drums. Me and Dee Dee were going to play guitar. Tommy was our advisor. Tommy then would go make Dee Dee the bass player, You play the guitar.
And Dee Dee would sing, but he couldn't sing and play at the same time, so when he was singing, he wasn't playing. When he was playing, he wasn't singing.
And then Joey would sing. Lo and behold, he had this great voice.
Tommy really pushed the Joey issue, especially as a singer. So it's not my idea of a singer, but Tommy said, no, he's going to look good in between you and Dee Dee.
So when we decided to have Joey become the singer, we needed a drummer.
We kept trying drummers out, and then one day no one showed up to try someone out, and Tommy just sat in, and we convinced Tommy that it was sounding right with Tommy, and we convinced him to stay in the band.
So, but at first I was very rushed. I never played drums, so it took me a little while, to just be able to do that, which fit in with their playing because they were kind of learning how to play themselves. But as soon as I started playing drums, the whole sound of the band changed. It started to gel, to become the Ramones.
Well, Dee Dee was using the surname Dee Dee Ramone. Ramone was the way we were going to be using it was to create a sense of unity, and a bond of sorts.
Joey's mother had an art gallery, and we were in the art gallery, and this was after closing, and we were rehearsing some of the songs. And Dee Dee and Joey were running down Judy's a Punk. That's the first time I heard Judy's a Punk. I had never heard anything like this. This was something that was futuristic. And I said, what is this? What are these lyrics they're singing? And what is this melody? What is this crazy harmony? And then it's all gelling, and I'm listening to this, and I'm going, this is brilliant stuff. And from then, I became very serious because it wasn't just a glitter rock band like 50 other glitter rock bands in New York. This was something fantastic.
New from K-Tel Records, 22 explosive hits, 22 original stars, Gallery.
Oh, it's so nice to be with you.
During the early 70s, it was the doldrums. The spirit of rock and roll sort of went away.
And many more, only $3.99.
In that time and in that culture, Donnie and Marie are on TV. Everybody's nice. Everything just seemed so mediocre and tedious. It was just awful, and everything was kind of earth shoes. Everything was muted, everything was browns, It was wheat groats, and we didn't like that. And you couldn't get laid unless you, were spiritually correct or gave them some rap about, like, macrame. I don't know what you were supposed to do, but I couldn't do it, It was the end of white flight in New York. Ever since World War II, people had been moving out of the cities to these new things called the suburbs. So people were really leaving New York, and it was kind of deserted. And you really got this feeling that, the parents had left, and you could take over and do whatever you want.
In the early 1970s, New York was empty. There was no clubs. The reason we played CBGBs was there was no place to play.
We saw a tiny little ad in Voice. Television were playing there.
I saw like a lot of good shows there. I love television. That was CBGB's to me. So some lonely night with 10 people there and television playing. Tom Verlaine singing the Venus de Milo song. It was great,
I remember the first time I walked into CBGB's, there was sawdust all over the floor, and there was piles of dog shit everywhere. It was like walking over a minefield, And so we auditioned for Hilly Crystal, and Hilly said, nobody's gonna like you guys, but I'll have you back.
We walk into CBGB's. It's literally a Bowery bar. I mean, there's Bowery bums at the bar, counting out their pennies to buy, a shot. And then there's like 10 people sitting at these tables. At that point, the Ramones came out. And they hit the stage, and they were all wearing these black leather jackets. And they counted off the song. And they started playing different songs, And it was just this wall of noise. And they threw down their guitars in disgust and walked off the stage. And they looked so like, you know, it looked like the SS had just walked in. You know, they looked so striking. I mean, these guys were not hippies. You know, this was something completely new. And the